So for a little while now, I've been drinking this new stuff. It's called mud water, if you've ever heard of it. And I don't know. I just thought this stuff is really good. Like, it's just really smooth. It goes down really easily. And you know what? I've been liking it so much that I've been replacing it with water completely. The mud in it just gives it some extra flavor that I really like and I can't get enough of. Perhaps this is a little unhealthy for me, and you could call it an addiction, but I can stop whenever I want. I've been drinking this stuff so much, I'm starting to feel a little funny. I doubt it's the mud water, you know. I just got a letter saying that they want me to come on My Strange Addiction.
I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this too, but the same stuff can be applied for video game collecting. Well, first off, you gotta get a video game console, and then you gotta get a game for that console. But now you look over the fence and you see all these other kids playing all these new games, so you gotta get another console and get another game with that console. But remember, it's 2021, and the TVs have changed substantially compared to 1990. And, well, along with those new TVs, you need different connections than the one you have. Ultimately, it's going to cost you a lot of money, and especially when you want to purchase other things like a stupid Pac-Man mug that shouts, "Oh, I'm a classic gamer," you're not going to have that money. But that's where these things come in. They're supposedly HDMI cables for your old classic consoles. And, well, that sounds kind of sketchy. How are they going to work? And how will that change how the picture stretches when you connect it to a modern TV? Well, I'm just gonna say, these things changed my life. As you can see, this HDMI cable is connected to a monitor I bought like a couple months ago, and it looks actually pretty good. For what it is, it plays well, doesn't really have any input lag, and it's the right aspect ratio too. The box claims that there's an aspect ratio switch, and you can actually see it on the device in the picture, so I mean, take that as you will. Looking at the device itself, it does actually have a switch like this. Switching it to 16:9 will stretch the game output, but 4:3 will be the original output that it uses. Also, it does need a little extra juice, so it comes with a micro USB cable to plug in also with this thing, so it gets a little messy with all the cables. I better get like 500,000 views on this video because I had to rip apart half my setup to get that cable out. Moving on to how the PS2 looks, I mean, I think it looks really good. I mean, the PS2 and the PS1 as well were designed around looking a little blurry since you're supposed to be playing them on CRT TVs. So, it might look weird to people because it's a much sharper image, but I like how it looks. But the main selling point is that you can hook up your old consoles to brand new TVs. That's awesome! I have one of these cables for my Wii as well, but for some reason it wouldn't turn on for this video, so just take my word on it. It looks okay. I mean, it just kind of looks the same to me at least with my TV, but your experience might be different with your TV. Now let's get on to the real question. How much these things cost? It costs a fortune! But nah, in reality it's actually not bad. Like, for what it is, $40 for a cable that will fix all your problems, I think that's a steal. I mean, I know not everybody can afford that kind of money, but you know what? For me, it works great. And back before I even got this cable, I went on Reddit trying to find out how I could get a good image out of my Genesis, and people started directing me to these things. $94. I mean, the real reason why they would direct me there was because these are the things that give it the best quality signal. It's like all top notch, and you can play around with scan lines and stuff like that. Man, I don't need that. What I just need is a good way to play my Genesis on my modern TV. I'm just a simple guy with simple needs. I don't need to spend no $94. And that's not even the only thing I need to complete whatever they were telling me to do. I need to buy this thing that costs the same amount of money as the cable I just bought, along with this thing that's $94. No, thank you. And some people don't understand that everybody don't have unlimited money and can't spend literally every penny they have on video games. I don't have that kind of money. I'm only 19. For people who just want something to hook it up to the new TV and not look like absolute crap, this is the way. And nobody knew this existed. And it's by Hyperkin, one of the biggest third-party providers for classic games. Hyperkin! You know, those dudes that keep recreating the classic consoles that basically just rip the ROM off the cartridge and then emulate them? Yeah, those dudes. So why didn't I hear about these HDMI cables then? These should be a huge deal. They work, they're from a trustworthy company, even though sometimes the quality for the consoles can be questionable. Generally they're good quality, they're cost effective, and you're getting exactly what you're paying for. So then what's the point of dropping like $150 for the same thing? These things are the best quality hookups you can get for your classic consoles, and it ends up making them look like an emulator on your computer, but it's just your console. And it's supposed to look amazing. I mean, I don't have one. I don't have any of them to test this thing out, but apparently they're freaking amazing. The only difference between these two things is the one is more affordable and gives you good quality, but it could be a lot better, while the other one costs you a leg or two, but it's amazing quality, apparently. So if I were to get a cable for each of my consoles that need one, how much would that cost me on both sides? If I were to go to the cheaper route, how much would that cost me versus the most expensive route? Well, let's put it into perspective. I have 4 consoles that would need this kind of treatment. I have a Wii, a Sega Genesis, a Super Nintendo, and a PlayStation 2. So that would be whatever they cost times 4. Starting with the Hyperkin cables, they generally cost about $40 each. So that'd be 40 times 4, which is about $160 Canadian. Haha, I'm Canadian. Deal with it. The more expensive ones, however, cost about $100 for the main module, then another $40 just for the adapter cable for the console. So that would come out about $140 just for one console. Multiply that by 4 and you get $560 just to hook up your consoles to a TV. I could buy all 4 of those consoles for less money than $560. So what exactly am I trying to get at in this video? Was I trying to shame people for spending a lot of money on things they care about? Yes. Was I trying to give better options to people who need the same thing but cheaper? Yes. If you're spending this much money on video games, I would call it an addiction, just like my mud water. All jokes aside though, video game collecting is cool. You know what? I'm not gonna actually shame you for spending money on a lot of video game stuff, cause it's awesome, bro. And you need all this stuff to actually play your games in a good playable way. Honestly, it's just a shame that the hobby can cost so much money sometimes, but I mean, I guess that's the cost of having a big collection. With video games being harder and harder to find, the prices just keep getting more expensive every single day. And it's a shame because it makes a lot of games so much less accessible, and it makes people turn to emulators more than the actual consoles themselves. And video game companies are trash at preserving their games too. I'm looking at you, Nintendo. A lot of this is cool though, because it shows how much the community cares about these games too. Like, think about it. There's still support for these consoles decades after they released. And these HDMI cables are actually a huge testament to that fact. If you want to get into classic gaming right now, with all the new hardware for TVs and stuff, I would highly recommend picking these up. It's an amazing gateway to start vintage gaming in modern day, when so much of the stuff you need is not very accessible. All that being said though, I just wanted to say that I think I've spent way too much money on this mud water stuff, and I really need some of my money back. Come on, give me my money back!